The Gallic Wars first started after a Roman client-state, the Averni, schemed a plan with the Sequani and the Suebi tribes to attack the Aedui, a strong Roman ally, in 62 BC. At this point, the Romans pretended not to notice these events. Therefore, this ignorance led to the Aedui fall in the Battle of Magotribigra in 63 BC. The problem erupted when Ariovistus, an important leader of the Suebi, demanded more land to accommodate the Hurris people. In brief, Ariovistus and the Suebi people defeated the Aedui and their co-conspirators. This event pulled Rome to war to defend Gaul. In 58 BC, the Romans' first main target was the Helvetii. After many roadblocks the Helvetii faced, the army was defeated by the Romans in the Battle of Arar. Nevertheless, these campaigns still continued. When the Romans began to run out of supplies due to the Helvetii intervention of Roman cavalries, the Romans retreated to an Aeduan town. The Helvetii chose to follow them to the town. Caesar, having noticed that Helvetii had been following, ordered his army to wait for a Helvetii attack. This led to the Battle of Bibracte and the surrender of the Helvetii people. The second target of the Romans was Ariovistus. Having captured their capital, Caesar proposed a peace conference with Ariovistus, but this did not produce any positive results. This led to the Battle of Estonia, with Ariovistus and the survivors fleeing. In 57 BC, Caesar decided to place his army in the lands of the Sequani. Roman occupation threatened the Belgae, the inhabitants of the land, and King Alba formed a league to prepare to fight the Romans. This league greatly outnumbered the Romans, as the league had 308,000 men and the Romans only had 40,000 men. However, their weakness was their supply system. When they ran short of supplies, the Romans inflicted severe casualties on the league, with each tribe surrendering one by one. The first Gallic revolt occurred in 56 BC because P. Crassus, a commanding officer of the 7th Legion, forced the submission of tribes, took hostages, and demanded supplies. The revolt began when the Veneti tribe seized Q. Valenius and T. Silius, the two representatives sent to request grain. The Suebi and Curosalade tribes soon joined the revolt, and the three tribes demanded two hostages in exchange for their men back. The Romans' main weakness in this campaign were the tides of the Atlantic Ocean. It gave them problems of defending cities, navigation, and deploying troops inland. In addition, the Romans were outnumbered by the Veneti and had about 220 ships, and the Romans only had 7 to 110 ships. However, the Romans' secret weapon was sharp hooks on long poles, used to cut the rigging of the enemy ships. In conclusion, the Veneti tribe surrendered. In 55 BC, Caesar faced another revolt from the Usipi and Tectori tribes. Caesar was unwilling to let the Germans settle on the west bank of the Rhine because their arrival might encourage the Gallic people to revolt. To his dismay, he found this fact to be true, as the Gallic people sent embassies to the Germans to fight the Romans. The German people proceeded to go to the tribes who were under Roman protection. Ambassadors from the rebel tribes approached Caesar and offered their work in return for the land. Caesar refused his request. The ambassadors responded by going back to their tribes and returning to Caesar with 800 men of German cavalry, attacking 5,000 Roman men and killing 74. Caesar responded to this attack by arresting the German leaders and massacring 430,000 Germans, killing all men, women, and children. In the end, he wiped out the two tribes. The second revolt began by kings Ambriox and Catavolius of the Eubronus tribe and were inspired by Indutiomarus. The tribes aimed to attack three Roman camps, Quintus Hicerio, Labienus, and Sabinus. The tribe was able to defeat the Sabinus tribe, but once again defeated by the Romans. He eventually ended this revolt by exiling Indutiomarus' force and defeating the Trivari. In 53 BC, the Third Revolt, or also known as the Great Gallic Revolt, occurred. The rebels started the rebellion by appointing Vercingetorix as the supreme commander. His first move was to split his army into two. One half went to the south into the lands of the Ruteni, a threat to the Roman province, and another half, with Vercingetorix, moved to the north to attack the Berberishes. The half of Vercingetorix's forces that went to the north were able to recruit the Bergerages in the revolt. Vercingetorix's army was able to defeat several towns until the Romans ultimately destroyed the Bergerages' forces. The Aedui, a Roman ally, suddenly betrayed the Romans and went to join Vercingetorix's cause. The final battle that decided the victor of the wars occurred in Alesia. As Vercingetorix was in the city, Caesar ordered his men to surround the city. A relief army of 250,000 men were sent to defend against Caesar's forces, but the defense failed. The battle ended with the surrender and arrest of Vercingetorix.